Welcome back to another crime case study with me. Sometimes, when a person wants to hurt or even kill someone, there can be many reasons behind it, for money, lust, personal gain, or financial advantage. But have you ever thought that sometimes the reason could be simply how someone looks? That's exactly what happened in today's case. Let's dive into the story of Priya and Arun. Priya was a 26-year-old woman living in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. In 2017, she married 25-year-old Arun, who belonged to Fatehgarh and came from a family of farmers. Arun was responsible and capable of taking care of both Priya and himself. But the problem was that Priya never liked Arun's appearance. She often mocked his looks and his dark complexion. Despite her constant taunts, Arun never reacted angrily. He continued to fulfill his duties as a husband and son-in-law. About a year after their marriage, in November 2018, their daughter was born. Arun hoped that the arrival of the baby would soften Priya's heart and make her love him genuinely. But nothing changed. In fact, after becoming a mother, Priya's disdain only increased. She would taunt him more, criticize his looks, and even threaten him during arguments, saying she would set him on fire if he didn't give her a divorce. Arun and his family understood that Priya wanted to leave him, but Arun never took it seriously. He continued to remain committed to his marriage, caring for his family, and fulfilling his responsibilities. Yet with every passing day, Priya's anger and resentment only grew. On April 14, 2019, Arun took Priya to her parental home. Clearly, she might have spoken about her dislike for him while at home. Later, Arun returned home with her. Little did he know that what happened next would change their lives forever. The very next day, on April 15, 2019, Arun was sleeping in his room. His father and brother had left early morning around 5:30 a.m. to work in the fields. While they were working, they noticed thick smoke coming from Arun's room. Panicked, they ran inside and saw a horrifying scene. Arun was badly burned, unconscious, and his wife Priya was there too, her foot slightly burned. Neighbors rushed in to help, calling for the fire department and trying to save everyone inside. Arun's brother rushed to the police station and filed a case against Priya for attempted murder, confident that this was no accident. Police first took statements at the hospital. Despite the severe burns, Arun managed to tell them that his wife had hated him since the beginning and had threatened him multiple times. Tragically, shortly after giving his statement, Arun succumbed to his injuries. His wife's hatred for his appearance had led to his death. By 2021, Priya's case went to court. She claimed that she was trying to save Arun, not harm him, and that her own foot was burned in the process. But the court dismissed this claim, saying that if she truly wanted to save him, she could have unlocked the door or shouted for help, which she did not. The court sentenced Priya to life imprisonment with a fine of 25,000 Indian rupees. Justice was served, but it could never bring Arun back. The biggest victim, however, was their daughter, now 5 years old, left without either parent's protection. After Arun's tragic death, Priya's life behind bars began, and her family struggled to come to terms with the loss. Her daughter, barely a toddler, grew up without the love and guidance of her parents. The community in Bareilly was shaken. Everyone who knew the family found it hard to believe that such a horrifying incident had occurred, all because of superficial judgments and resentment. The police continued investigating, uncovering more evidence that confirmed Priya's malicious intent. Witnesses and neighbors testified about the arguments, the threats she made, and her visible anger toward Arun's appearance. All of these details helped the court build a clear picture of what had happened in those tragic early hours of April 15, 2019. During the trial, Priya's defense tried to argue that the incident was accidental, that she had only intended to scare Arun or that it was a mishap while trying to help him. But the inconsistencies in her statements, combined with the physical evidence and multiple witness testimonies, made it impossible for the court to accept her claims. Finally, after 4 long years of hearings, the court delivered its verdict. Priya was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with an additional fine. While justice for Arun was served, the emotional scars remained. His daughter grew up knowing her father only through stories, photographs, and the painful legacy left behind by her mother's actions. The case became a stark reminder of how unchecked resentment, hatred, and prejudice, even over something as superficial as appearance, can lead to irreversible consequences. Friends, relatives, and the local community reflected on the tragedy, realizing how quickly life could change when malice and violence go unchecked. For Arun's family, there was a small sense of closure in seeing justice served, but the pain of losing him, the father and husband, remained. And for the daughter, the real victim, her childhood was permanently altered by the loss of parental love and safety. The story of Priya and Arun stands as a haunting example of domestic violence, showing the devastating consequences of neglecting emotional issues, resentment, and threats within a household. It also underscores the importance of swift legal action and the role of the justice system in protecting innocent lives. This concludes the tragic story of Priya and Arun. While we cannot undo the past, sharing these stories helps us understand the dangers of anger, envy, and unaddressed emotions, and reminds us to protect those we love before it's too late.